Hey there, CPO here, and if you've ever tried to remove the rear shocks off of a older TJ, like my son's 2004 TJ there in the garage, you will likely run across a problem, and that is that the upper shock bolts have this nasty habit of snapping. They just break. It's very common. Actually, it's more common to have them break than it is to come out unscathed if you're changing the shocks out for the very first time and they're the factory installed bolts. So yes, I broke all 4 bolts in the back of the TJ and started trying to figure out how I'm going to solve this problem, because the bolts that hold the shock go into a welded nut that is sort of welded on a bracket on the frame. So the only way to get the bolt out is to cut the nut off. Now, with that said, I've done a lot of research on this. A lot of people have drilled them out successfully. A lot of people have tried to drill them out and failed miserably, ended up going to other options. I looked at all kinds of options before I settled on what I found to be the easiest way to get all 4 of those bolts cleaned out, all the nuts removed, and then that's why I'm sharing it with you, because this is, I think, the easiest way to solve that problem. So I started out like a lot of people, trying all the different tools. I had this air hammer with a chisel on it. I tried a pointed chisel, a blunt chisel end. They say that these nuts are tack welded in place. Well, I had a very aggressive welder, because these things had a nice line laid down with them, and they were not coming out just by knocking them around. I even saw a YouTube video where a guy took a little palm hammer like this and stuck a punch in it and then stuffed it up in there and knocked them out. I call BS on that one. That one doesn't work either. Maybe if you've already got everything all cut out and there's just one more hit to get it done. But beating on it with a palm hammer did not do the trick. But here's what did the trick for me, and that is this guy, the Dremel. But more importantly, I went and found a 90-degree Dremel adapter. That allows me to get up in there. I'm gonna show exactly how to do it. This is the lifesaver, the 90-degree Dremel attachment. So you can find the link down in the description of this video. This was the best 20 some odd bucks I spent. And I'll show you exactly how I'm using it and how I'm getting access down there. So let's do it. All right, so first let me show you the side that I did get done. I did the driver's side. That's where we're at now, the driver's side of the frame. You'll notice one thing missing, and that is the fuel tank. I removed the fuel tank before I started this, and I'm glad I did. It made it so much easier. Don't be scared to remove the fuel tank. It was actually pretty easy. Go see my previous video on how to do that. It was a lot easier than I expected. But basically what I have, I've undone the body mounts from the frame on this side, loosen them up, and you can see I've jacked it up, I don't know, about that far, 4 or so inches, which gives me the clearance I need, both to work in here, but also to get the Dremel tool in there. And you can see where I have, at least you can see one of them, got those cut out. Take you underneath to look at, and you can see this one here and this one here. This is the one where I was trying everything I could come up with. I was beating it with all kinds of stuff. This is the one where I just used my new process and just went with the Dremel, and you can see a much cleaner removal. You know, these guys are in a tough to get to spot, but with that 90-degree Dremel attachment, it makes it much easier. So here's how it works. Dremel comes up from the back side, and then I reach in this way through the frame. And then what I can do now is, just because I've got that 90-degree head, I can come in here and just cut those bolts off. And then just cleaned it up with the cutoff wheel. All right, so you're probably not gonna be able to cut the entire weld with the Dremel just because of the diameter of the tool. So what I do after I get it as much as I can cut, I'm going in there with this punch. This is a 5/16 inch punch. And I'm basically just sticking it up here, lining it up. There's gonna be a bolt in there still. Lining up there, a couple of hard hits, and we'll knock that the rest of the way out. I'm using these Easy Lock metal cutoff wheels, and they work great. And man, I wish they had Easy Lock the entire time I've been using a Dremel. If you don't have Easy Lock attachment, get that. That thing is freaking awesome. So anyway, let me go ahead and start working on those other 2, and I'll let you try and peek in. I don't know how good of a camera view I can get All right guys, so there you go. That is as easy as it is. They look just like this when you pop them off. And you can see how those welds were pretty solid on there. But anyway, my opinion, this is the way to go. Just use that Dremel tool. So now what I'll do is I'll go in and do some touch-up paint, all that bare metal that I just created. But the holes are now ready to be filled. I'm gonna go buy some nut and bolt hardware that will fit the shock mounting slots and you know, reinstall the shocks. And that's it guys. So hope this helps you if you've got broken bolts for your upper shock mounts on a TJ. And if you're doing a lift kit on a TJ, my guess is you're probably gonna have this problem. If not, you're super lucky. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you on the next one.